Alright, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Hey guys, it's Kyra and Lauren. I'm Kyra.
And I'm Lauren.
And welcome to our channel. So today we're going to do the story challenge. I'm not really sure if that's what it's called or not. And not also sure who came up with it. But
I mean,
we did.
Ricky Dillon did it, so
good job.
It was pretty cool. So
what's going to happen is one of us is going to start telling a story, and then the other person is just going to like throw in random words, and we have to like mold it into a story.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun.
Yeah, pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
So let's get started.
Give me a setting. Go.
Okay, the setting is Iceland.
Okay. Sounds good.
Ready?
Yeah. So I took a trip to Iceland, and it was so cool, and it wasn't really icy. And all of a sudden, I was like flying on the plane, right? And I turned my head, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's Brad Pitt! Like, what do I do?" So I walked up to him, and I was like, "Yo, Brad Pitt, you hot?"
But he's not with Angelina.
He's not with Angelina?
No.
Okay, so I was like, "Brad Pitt, yo, hot." And so I asked him if I could sit on his lap, and he said yes. So I sat on his lap, and it was a really
handbag.
It was a really intimate time. And then he said, wait, I have something for you. I was like, no freaking way. And he like was like, yeah, just reach inside my handbag. And he took out this long candle and just gave it to me. And I was like, Brad Pitt, wow.
No
that
gosh.
was such a good gesture. And I was like, well, what should I do with this candle? He says, sometimes I use this candle when I like to paint my nails. He lights it up, and it, like, incensed the room, so that way you just feel really nice and soothed.
Chapstick.
So, as we were getting off the plane, you know, the plane landed, turbulence, like, and so we landed the plane, and we got out, and we were walking out, and he took my hand, and he goes, wow, your hands are so chapped. Use this chapstick and wipe it all over your hands. So I did, and he was like, wow, such a good one. And then, so I wiped the chapstick all over my hands, and then he turned to me with this, like, stare in his eyes. I was like, whoa, what's about to happen?
Panda.
And all of a sudden, he just, like, leaned in and, like, nibbled on my earlobe. And I was like, what the crap? And then I was like, okay, I mean, that's kind of romantic, I guess. And then we just kept walking, and then I was like, oh my gosh, because all of a sudden Brad Pitt wasn't next to me, and I look over, and he was attacked by a panda, and so we had to call the ambulance.
Pineapples.
And then when I got to the ambulance, they were like, do you want to ride with Brad Pitt to hospital? I was like, yeah, I want to ride with Brad Pitt. Like, this is great. And so I got in, and all of a sudden, they were feeding him pineapple, and I was like, what is this pineapple for? And they were like, oh, it really helps with, like, you know, calming down after a panda attack. We use it all the time. And I was like, wow, great. I need some of this to bring back home with me. And then as we were pulling into the hospital, I got out, and it was dark, and I just couldn't see anything, and I didn't know if anybody else could see anything. And then I found this lamp just lying in the grass, and I think that's what it was for, is to turn it on with the walkway. So I went to go turn it on, and all of a sudden, Brad Pitt was riding a giraffe. And I asked if I could get on with him, and I was like, wow, you're miraculously better after that pain attack. He goes, I know, the pineapple really helped. So we got on the giraffe's back and rode all the way to Switzerland, and that was my adventure with Brad Pitt.
That was really good. I don't think I'm going to do that well, to be quite honest. That was really good.
I think you'll be good. I believe in you. I have so much faith in you.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Your scene is in the zoo.
Okay, in the zoo.
In the zoo.
So, actually, in psychology right now, we are learning about, you know, memory, and so we're going on this field trip to the zoo. I'm really kind of nervous, though, because I'm not really this, like, into zoos. So, whatever. We get on the bus.
Kumquat.
And we're on the bus, and my friend's like, hey, I'm kind of hungry. I'm like, all right. So I, you know, go in my lunchbox, and I whip out a kumquat. And then she was like, my friend was like, what's a kumquat? I go, do you not know what a kumquat is? They're, like, my favorite food in the entire universe.
Chopsticks.
So I was like, well, what kind of utensils do you want to use? Like, I have forks, knives, and chopsticks. She goes, okay, you eat kumquats with chopsticks. And I was like, yes. So, you know, we're skewering them on chopsticks, we're eating them.
Blindfold.
So we finally arrive to the zoo, and, you know, we're walking down the aisle of the bus, and I'm thanking the bus driver, and I look over, and he's wearing a blindfold. So, clearly the entire time that we were on the ride there, we were being driven by a blindfolded bus driver. So, you know, we're exiting, and we go there, and we look out, and we're like, you know, it's a little chilly. And we look in the, you know, to our right, and there's a Zamboni there. And we're like, okay, like, whatever, maybe this is, like, a thing, you know, for the penguins or something. So we just kind of keep walking in, and we're like, okay, like, I don't think this is the zoo. So, you know, this lady's, you know, giving us our ticket, whatever. And we're like, okay, this is kind of weird. Like, I don't really know if this is a zoo. And so, she, like, puts our, she's like, take your shoes off. We're like, what? So she, like, takes our shoes, puts them on the shelf, and we keep walking. Now we're, like, in our socks.
Picture frame.
And as we're walking down this weird hallway, there's, like, this really long hallway with a bunch of picture frames on it with all these, like, really weird old dudes.
Lubricant.
And we get to the end of the hallway, and there's this really creepy guy, and he goes, we're selling this lubricant. Would you like to try it? And I was like, nah. So now we're officially creeped out. We know for sure we're not at a zoo. We are at some weird Zamboni...
Pantyhose.
We're at some weird, Zamboni holding place that's got creepy dudes selling lubricant in places. We're not wearing shoes. What was the word you said?
Pantyhose.
Pantyhose. So we enter this giant room and we realize we're in an ice rink. That lubricant was for the bottom of your skates to make it easier when you skate. So we're like, okay, this is sweet. Like, screw the zoo. Like, we're at an ice rink. So, we get our skates on and, this other guy comes up to us and goes, oh, do you guys need, like, pantyhose? I go, creep? Nah. No, I am getting on that ice. I don't need any pantyhose.
Hairstyles.
So, me and my friend, we got on the ice and we're skating. We're like, man, do you know who would be awesome to skate with? Harry Styles. Who else but Harry Styles? So I'm like, okay, man crush. So now I'm like skating. I'm like pretending I'm, holding Harry Styles' hand. And, and then I fall a couple times because I'm like in my daydream, pretending I'm married to Harry Styles. We're like in love.
Magazine.
And so then I was like, I'm getting kind of tired, so I got off the ice, I get some food, get some hot cocoa, get some lunch, and I'm reading a magazine. And as I'm flipping through the pages, there's some ads for some hairspray. I was like, well, I don't really need that, so I kept flipping and flipping, and I was kind of bored, so then I, like, eventually, like, walk out. I was like, you know what, like, I think we're done at this place, so we get back on the bus.
Bed sheets.
And, the blindfolded bus driver is no longer there. He's back to normal. And the bus is covered in bed sheets. So I was like, okay, like, this is kind of a maybe sanitary thing, a bowl, I don't know. So we're like, all right, just take our seats. We're, like, all surrounded by these bed sheets. We're like, all right, we get to go back to school. We don't have to go to class anymore.
A crown.
So my friend turns to me, and she goes, oh, like, that was so much fun. I'm like, yeah, like, did you get a souvenir? And she goes, yeah, I stole this crown. And I was like, what? And she goes, that hallway?
The po-po.
She was like, like that hallway, those were all kings. And so, like, I just took one of these crowns. And I was like, oh my god, I am sitting next to a felon, a thief. So, as we're going, I slowly hear sirens, and oh my god, Susie, like, what the hell? Like, you stole, like, a hockey player's crown? Like, what are you doing? So now we're starting to hear the police sirens. I'm like, oh my god, I need to get out of here. Like, we're all gonna die. We're all gonna be arrested. And so that's basically the story of how my trip to the zoo turned into a trip to an ice rink, and my friend got arrested.
Same.
That was really hard.
Wasn't it hard?
It's hard. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. It was just kind of spur of the moment, but it was fun. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, like, thanks for
subscribing.
So many subscribers.
Like thank
what?
You. Like,
what?
People, are there people out there? What? How you doing?
Oh my gosh, but seriously, that, like, totally made our day.
I know. I, like, woke up and I'm like, wait, two people? There's people here!
Like, seriously, thank you so much. So we just want to say that, but...
So yeah, we will see you guys hopefully next week with another video.
We know that we're losers.
And we know that you guys are losers too.
So let's be losers together.
Bye! Yikes, 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 yikes. Oh!
Killer.